You're the Superb back with another video, and with Maxxxine officially out, it's been like a week since it released. Um, Go check out my review if you haven't already. I have a review for all three of these movies, but I want to talk about what makes the X trilogy great. What makes it so unique compared to other horror trilogies and just trilogies in general. Starting with X, the movie that kicked off this whole entire franchise, or just this trilogy in general. We have Mia Goth in here. And what I like about X, even though it's like personally my least favorite now that I've kind of watched all three. I've watched Maxxxine twice. I've watched X several times. I've watched Pearl several times. But what I really like about X is not really knowing what's going on as far as like the story, these characters. It almost makes it feel like Mia Goth's character isn't the main character up until the very end, and that was a treat within itself. And not only that, is just the style of X. It definitely pulls from that Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of vibe, and that's what I really like about all three of these movies. Is it's also paying homage to specific movies that came out in that era, where with X, this takes place in 79, so that's right around the time where Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes out. We got Halloween. We starting to see the early days of slashers, and also porn is on the rise. That's another thing, is sex and violence is very much a theme throughout all three of these movies, but they're all very distinctly different. So then when we go back to Pearl, we're in like the 1918, and things are taboo. We're seeing the descend into madness, Breaking Bad of Pearl's character, and her just being isolated, and it's also pulling from that golden age of films, and gives us that Wizard of Oz Technicolor kind of vibe, Dark Dorothy kind of aesthetic. And why I love Pearl the most, and what I'm saying, because it's not your traditional slasher. These all have slasher elements, but X is the only one that is a straight up slasher. Then you have Maxxxine, which will be the most probably controversial one out of the three, and it really shouldn't be. Even though I get it, people were thinking that Maxxxine was going to be like this 80s slasher, but if you just look at the themes here and pay attention, you should already know that that wasn't going to be the case for Maxxxine. But I understand that some people are kind of disappointed with Maxxxine, I guess because they were so excited from Pearl and X. And Maxxine's not a bad movie. I want to put that out there. Maxxxine is not a bad movie by any stretch, but it is very different, where, like I said about the previous two films, this one more so is talking about 80s Hollywood, and it's more of a crime drama thriller with a little bit of slasher elements mixed in. And once you kind of understand and pay attention to what was going on in X and where this goes in Maxxxine, it makes sense for how it wraps everything up, because there were things that were happening in the background of X that I'm glad that gets addressed in Maxxxine, and possibly we could see them explore more of that if this franchise decides to go on. So all of those elements alone makes this trilogy very unique and distinct, and it stands out, where it's not trying to copy nothing, but it's trying to innovate on things that we have already seen before. And this all would not be possible if it wasn't for the star talent, our main girl here, our final girl, and also one of the best horror villains, Mia Goth's performance, not only as Pearl, as Maxxxine as well, playing two distinctly different characters. That alone is very hard, and to put that on screen and having these characters cross paths in X is really fucking dope. And I feel like Mia Goth should have definitely gotten some award considerations for Pearl, because that whole monologue at the end of Pearl and how that reflects the beginning monologue that Maxxxine does in Maxxxine, fan-fucking-tastic. And it's really what I love about this franchise, and just not only the themes that it tackles and the things that it's trying to address, whether it's Pearl dealing with her being isolated, not really able to accomplish her dreams. She ends up taking a dark path, or being like Maxxxine, being fully confident and motivated and driven to do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever dream, even if that means getting a little violent or getting blood on your hands. And what I also like about Pearl and Maxxine's character dynamic is Maxxxine ends up being more of a anti-hero, where Pearl is obviously the villain. But only in horror can this happen, and this has never been done before, where we get these types of movies at this quality and at a low budget. On top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to overspend. We didn't have to throw 50, 100 million at this movie to make it successful. And this movie is going to be these movies are going to be talked about for years to come. And I can't wait to see what's next for this whole entire franchise. Now, I have a theory that maybe Sophie Thatcher's character might be the focus in the next movies or something like that, considering Maxxine's story is pretty much done. That's just my only thought. Or maybe we kind of dive into some things that happen in between Pearl and X or something like that. I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm down for it. The X trilogy is fantastic. It's going to be talked about for years and years, and I think that's the best thing about this trilogy, is it's gotten people talking. You know, we're having really interesting conversations about each individual movie and how different the next one is from the other. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see it. Do they keep going into the future? Like, do we get into the 90s? Do we get into the 2000s all the way up until modern day? I have no idea, but let me know how you guys feel about the X trilogy. Let me know your rankings as well, how it stands for me. I got Pearl at number 1, I got Maxxxine at 2, and I got X at 3. But these are all fantastic movies in their own right. I can't wait to see what's in store next. But let me know how you guys feel about this video in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.